Now, what other property? I don't want any fighting here. I don't want any more issues with respect to your emotional relationship. I want to know what additional property you claim he has possession of and he's refused to give you back or pay the value of.
In the east bedroom.
Of what? The Airbnb?
Of the Airbnb.
What is there?
We're talking the Airbnb strictly.
What is there?
2 brand new beds, a twin and a full, and the nightstand.
Stop. Where are those things?
They're at the Airbnb.
What? Will you give them back to her?
No.
Why not?
Because they're part of the Airbnb.
You own half of them.
Yes.
Now, what else?
Okay, each bedroom, I bought 3 sets of sheets and also a trash can and a fan for each room.
Don't you think you're getting a little petty now? A mirror
and you have no receipts, ma'am. You made money off the Airbnb.
No, I didn't. I lost money.
Okay, you told me that you made $3,000
yeah,
a
and
month.
I gave it to him.
Why?
Why?
Why did you give him all of the money?
Because
was
he was
paying the mortgage on the house that you two were sharing?
And his house.
So you used the Airbnb profit to pay for the mortgage at the house that you two lived at?
Yes.
So he was paying the mortgage?
Both homes, the Airbnb and my home.
So your mortgage was being paid through the Airbnb profit?
Correct.
I'm good.
Any other further questions?
I have nothing.
Great. Okay, we're going to excuse both of you. Thank you very much.
This is the arrangement that I think it was between these two. I do believe that the defendant had a home in Arizona. The plaintiff had a home in California she sold, moved to Arizona in this home, decided to buy a home together in Arizona, and use the defendant's home in Arizona that he'd already purchased as an Airbnb to support the mortgage for the new home that they were living in. And furnishing this Airbnb, I believe some of the stuff might have been the defendant's, but again, I don't think the plaintiff proved that she paid more for this model home because it included furniture. She didn't prove that. I'm glad, Michael, you kind of nailed the defendant down to the items that the Airbnb has that he believes is half his because he bought the home that was already furnished with her. Do we believe that? She claims, no, you didn't. I just used your credit.
But that's a big deal. I just used your credit and your ability to obtain a VA loan.
Right.
By using his ability to access a line of credit reserved for veterans because they've served our country. They're entitled to a preferential loan for that purpose. If she's now saying, I just rode piggyback on his loan, then she's committed fraud. So, I mean, I think we have to assume that all of this was being done together.
Well, more importantly, I think what's so terribly unclear here is what was the understanding, the original partnership agreement, what were to be considered assets. Did they get profits? They got profits. So how much of the profits went towards the original contribution, essentially, of each
She was living in his home. He was paying the mortgage for that home. I think the other problem here is that she's really asking us to carve out this one piece of this very messy situation. I mean, how do we know in this complicated business/personal relationship, how do we know he doesn't have greater claims against her for money that he contributed to pay down the mortgage on the home that she's going to live in?
That is my concern.
We have no idea, really. All of this is just in one big messy hopper.
Well, and essentially she's alleging that he stole the property. I don't think she's met her burden with respect to that because he has a claim of legal right to the property in terms of
this was all contributed.
Interest. And in that sense, her cause of action has failed.
I agree.
Yeah.
How do you untangle all of this?
Yeah.
Right? You can't in a relationship, oftentimes. And I think that's the problem.
Yeah, this lawsuit is really symbolic of something a lot deeper than we're capable of resolving.
All right, we have a verdict. This court is again in session. Okay, so the court has reached a unanimous verdict. Ms. Lomelin, we feel that you have not met your burden today. Your claims that the defendant has kept stolen items that belong to you, we just don't see it, especially when he has a vested interest in the properties in question. We believe that you two bought a home together. Your explanation that you were using his credits, we just don't buy that. Because if so, you'd be committing a crime. And I don't think you want to do that. So we believe that you two both bought this home together, which is why we believe that he has an interest in this home. And you were also using the profits from the Airbnb to pay the mortgage on this home that you two shared. So we feel that you just haven't met your burden. This was just an incredibly messy, personal/business relationship. It's hard to untangle all of this, and we're not going to do your work. You should have come in here and provided the evidence that we needed to make a decision today. And because of that, the verdict today is to dismiss your suit.